That's what I've been.
I realized it for myself because when I stopped working out and I sit a lot, my knees hurt.
Yeah.
Like I go up and down the stair, it started hurting me. Now I'm working out. I'm doing more. I'm lifting a lot of weights and stuff and pushing with my legs and stuff. My knee doesn't hurt no more, and I can wear my heels without no issue. But when I stop, like 2 months, that's it. I feel it bad. I'm like, ooh, I'm aging.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's go with it.
Oh, yeah. I started doing ninja with my kids. It's so fun.
Did you?
Yeah, we do ninja together. My kids are funny. They're like, Mama, you're so old, but you're doing real good.
Yeah. They say you keeping up with them. How's this possible?
And I start doing it like I do the things and I jump and I grab the next one.
Yeah.
I do 3 now. But when I started, I barely can grab the first one.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing 3. Or I leave myself and I move around like a monkey.
Yeah.
I do it a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm getting stronger. This work, you want to do the entire body workout?
Yeah.
Your entire body. Your arms, your leg, your core.
No, I ain't going to start like that. Let me get there first. That's
what
the
you need
biggest...
to start doing is start walking. Walk first.
Yeah.
Get used to moving.
I walk my dogs.
20 minutes every day. And then walk on the pace. Don't just walk like you're going on picnic.
So create a pace.
Yeah, create a pace. Create a pace. And then you're going to see your dog will have also good energy for himself. And you create a pace and walk. And then start doing more and more. And then start going to the gym.
Yeah.
So it won't be too painful. And then you will feel less pain in your legs and stuff like that. All right, guys. Let's get started.
Let's go.
Hey guys, I am Danielle Bilumbu, your host here at Let's Keep It Real Now. And here's my favorite friend.
Hey, how y'all doing? Abu Jabi with AMP Lending.
Okay, guys. So we decided to do it a little bit different. We're going to answer most questions that you guys, viewer and listener and clients, oftentimes ask us. So we decided to compile the most questions that we receive, and we're gonna answer them. And then you guys have a lot of questions, but we're going to focus on buyer today mainly. For anybody thinking to buy, having questions regarding real estate and buying a home. So here are some of the questions to receive. You want to start?
Okay, so one of the questions that I have is, what incentives do you have as far as a lender compared to an actual builder? So, as a lender, basically what we have, the incentives that we have are no administration fees. We don't have any processing fees. Basically, you can buy down your rates based off of points. So depending upon how low you want to go on your rates, you can do that based off how much you want to pay for, and how high you want to get on your rates. You can get a credit towards closing towards that. So that's an incentive that the lender has. As far as the builder is going to have...
So the builder lender.
The builder lender. Yeah, they can give up to 6% in seller contribution towards the transaction on the home. They're able to buy down the rates for the clients. They're able to give incentives as far as like crown molding, a free refrigerator, tile, wood floors, just different things, depending upon that builder and what they're offering for that month.
And also, oftentimes the builder lender and with the builder in collaboration, they pay the buyer's closing costs often.
Correct.
On the new construction.
Correct. Yeah, so that's why I was saying like up to 6% seller contribution towards the closing costs, depending upon the sales price of the home that the builder is able to do. So when it comes to incentives, that's going to be the biggest difference between an actual mortgage company and your builder's lender.
Okay. And then so it's not because the builder lender offer all these perks. The reason why the builder have their in-house lender or another lender they partner up with for the potential buyers because they want to make sure everything is under control, right? They want to make sure you truly qualify because they provide the house and they want to be controlling what's going on in the lending part and make sure and guarantee that things going to close. That's how they do it. That's the reason why they give you that. They don't do it because you're cute. They're doing it because they want to make sure they have control as far the buyer they're coming in. That's why oftentimes before you have a final contract with a builder, the lender is required their lender is required to give you a pre-approval, so you will not have the final contract until you select it. But it's not because you go with them because they pay your closing costs that necessarily they're better. Because when you decide to compare, always compare. Please contact your other lender that is not the builder lender, like Abu over here, and make sure to give them the paperwork that the builder lender gave you, the what we call the preliminary closing disclosure information with all the loan and the fees and so on, and give it to the other builder and ask them if they can bid it. Oftentimes, they will not bid it on the incentive, but they will bid it on the rate. Because at the end of the day, remember, you pay your mortgage with dollar money, not with interest rate, and then you're going to be stuck on 30 years. So, okay, they may, if you have some cash, they may give you the cash now, but the interest rate is higher versus, okay, just advance your down payment and your own closing costs, and then let the other mortgage lender take care of you. So be careful of that. Make sure you compare that.
Most definitely. Great point.
And then also when you do have people oftentimes ask, should I buy new construction versus older home? I have that question a lot. Well, for me, it's a question of lifestyle. Some people, they just feel icky if they have to buy a house that somebody used to live before. That's just what they like. They like newer, first time, and just buy it. New construction are great because you have the benefit of all the new standard builder construction required by law. Energy efficiency oftentimes is better.
Yes.
New construction are better in a way that you have warranty from the builder, sometimes 1 or 2 years. Anything workmanship, and then you have 5 years mechanical and 10 years structural, for example, roof and foundation, mechanical, AC, and then workmanship, all the little knick-knack that we can have on the property, appliances and so on. So that's the benefit of a new construction. Also, new construction benefit will give you, especially for newer community, you do not have the value of your home. I'm not guaranteed, right? But based on the history, the value of your home tends to go up faster because it's a new community, and the more new home they build, usually the price go higher. So maybe you enter the community, you bought your home at $250,000. By the time the community closes out 5-6 years later, your home will be almost $100,000 more. That's the benefit. But remember, when you buy a new home in a new community, value increase means
higher taxes,
right?
Yes.
So you have two type of taxes situation you need to pay attention. So when you purchase your home and the builder built the house, or during the year, you bought the house in 2023. The house was not fully built and complete in 2023. So the taxes that you have most likely is lower because it's based on the dirt, just the land. But then the following year, 2024, you will see your the new tax assessment that will come to you will be so much higher. And then you'll be paying an extra $200 to $300 more. Just have that in mind.
Yes.
Always have that in mind. So when the lender is doing the calculation for the mortgage payment, make sure they put that in consideration. So you will not be like shocked when you have an extra $300 or $400 monthly payment in your mortgage and you realize you can't afford the house no more. But this time is too late.
Yeah. So when you have a professional loan officer, what they're typically going to do is the sales price of the house, they're going to use that number times the tax rate minus 20% of the taxes, because you get a 20% discount on your homestead exemption. Also,
remember the taxes when the community is built up and done, because every year the value of the community is going up. It's not guaranteed, but they often happen. What's going to happen is your tax here will be very high every single year. So just pay attention to that on an older home versus newer. Correct. Older home, sometimes it depends. Older home, I think they have their charm that the newer do not have. You will have more house for less money on a newer home. So if you're trying to find a 4-bedroom in a newer community, maybe that 4-bedroom at 2,900 square feet will cost you $450,000, or the same house in a community that is built maybe just 5 years sometime, established community for the past 5-6 years, will be $50,000 less or $30,000 less. Or even within the same community, I do have a listing right now. The newer construction for this, my listing is bigger than the newer one for 4-bedroom, but my listing, because it's a little bit older, will sell close to 310 versus the new construction I selling for $350,000. So you will have more house for your money when you go a little bit older. And you don't have to take something that is 80 years. You can pick something that is 5 to 10 years, you know?
6 years.
But I like older home. What do you think?
I love older homes. If I had it my way, I would tell all borrowers to go ahead and get older homes. No, but older homes have character. You like Danielle stated, you're able to purchase more house for your buck when you're going with an older home. You already have the homestead exemption that's already on the home, depending upon the borrower and who's selling it to you. So you're able to carry that. So sometimes to me, it's a win-win situation when it comes to a dollar amount. If you're on that income, when you're closely watching how much you're paying monthly on your mortgage.
Yeah. One of the questions that we have received from a viewer is buying a home worthy?
Is buying a home worth it?
Yeah, is it worth to go through that pain and buy a home? What's the point of it?
Well, yeah, it's definitely worth it in my eyes. It just depends on the situation, right? I mean, you have some borrowers. I think it's all about how financially stability a client is, right? How stable they are. So you'll have some clients, you probably just started a job. You just started working in a job. You're just starting to gain to get your reserves up, your savings up. You're not that, financial stable to where you might need to stay in an apartment for a little bit before you move into a home versus somebody that's been on a job, 1 year or have done a type of profession where you can see yourself being in that job for a long time. Then those type of people I would definitely advise to be able to purchase a home. But buying a home in America is the best thing to do because of the investment on it. I mean, it's always going to appreciate in value. It's always going to appreciate in value. So at the end of the day, if you're purchasing a property for $200, and down the line you want to sell it within 6 to 7 years, I mean, that property might be worth $400, $450 when you're selling it. So you're appreciating your money. You're making your money work for you versus just having your money, in the bank sitting and it's just making a small amount on interest. So yeah.
Or versus making your landlord rich. Just know something. When you buy a home or versus when you rent a house, when you rent a house, just every year, I'm a property manager. So every year, all my landlord, I advise them to increase the rent. Mm. Not necessarily a lot, but we run the comp. We see what's the value of all the rental in the neighborhood. And then this tenant is being in a house. And then the taxes sometimes increase on the landlord. Mm-hmm. Some of them made maybe more or less repair. Mm-hmm. Maybe the insurance increase. So somebody needs to eat that cost. Mm-hmm. The owner is not willing to. So as the tenant, you will be paying that cost for the landlord. Mm-hmm. So an extra $100 to $150 increase every year if you stay at the same place. Mm-hmm. And if you don't like that place, the fact that you stay, oftentimes you pay less than if you decide to move and find yourself the same house. Just know the price will be so much higher.
Exactly.
Also, you do have tax benefit, right? You can write off your interest payment.
Your interest payments. Mm-hmm. You're able to get a percentage of that back when you file your taxes. So that's always a good thing. Yeah. You can use that to your leverage. And
then you do have a homestead exemption.
Homestead exemption.
That will help you a lot. Mm-hmm. And you benefit of the increase in value like you say earlier. Mm-hmm. And if you put the property for rent, you become the landlord and then now you're making cash flow.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, yes, I believe buying a home is worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
So, the next question, does buying a home hurt my credit?
No. Buying a home doesn't hurt your credit at all. Once you're purchasing a home, you're making timely payments on that home. It's definitely going to help your credit as far as showing history. If you're going out to try to go ahead and purchase another home for investment property and the lender that you're using sees that stability, they're able to go ahead and qualify you for that home based off of those timely payments that you're making. So, yeah, purchase a home definitely doesn't hurt your credit at all.
But a rule of thumb is when you shop for a mortgage, right? Don't pull your credit more than 3 times within 30 days.
1 month. 3 times within 1 month. It all counts as one inquiry.
Okay, so could you buy your home after bankruptcy or short sale?
You can. You definitely can. You definitely can. So for the short sale, you're going to be looking at 3 years. For bankruptcy, you're going to be looking anywhere from 6 to 7 years after that bankruptcy has been cleared that you can move forward with purchasing a home.
Okay. And then the question is, which type of credit score that the lender used in order to qualify you for a home?
Yeah, so you have 3 credit scores, right? And between the 3 credit scores that you have, they're going to use a medium score. So you have one that's your high score, you're going to have another one that's the middle score, and then you're going to have another one that's the lower score between the 3 bureaus. So between all 3 of those, what they do is use that middle score for qualification purposes.
Okay.
And it needs to be at least a 620 if you're going FHA.
And then also some people ask me, well, I'm married, I have a perfect credit that's 780. My spouse has a 620 credit score. Would I use their credit score?
Yeah, so basically what happens if you have 2 borrowers that are going on the loan, you're going to use the lowest score between the 2. So it's going to be the lowest risk.
Because you make the most money, huh?
Well, it just depends. You can have the person that has the lowest score make the most money.
No, I mean, the lender will make the most money with lower credit score because they charge more interest rate.
Well, but you got to think about it. You got to think about it from a standpoint. You have 2 people that are purchasing a home. One person is financially stable as far as, paying their debts on time. And you have another person that doesn't. So it could be a situation where the person that has good score loses their job. And then what happens with the other person that has that lower score? So it's all a risk thing when it comes to the bank. So when you have 2 people that are going on the loan, they're going to go with the lowest risk. But yeah, it does help the bank.
That's what I just said. You went through a whole explanation.
Yeah, I had to
tell you that.
I had to explain it.
Okay, never mind. So the next question is, which type of investment property are the best in Houston area? So single family home, condo, townhome, or multifamily? Multifamily
all the time because you're able to put more people under that same roof, right? So if I get a multifamily and I have 4 units within that multifamily, that's 4 different rental incomes that I'm able to receive versus a single family property. It's only going to be 1. So yeah, multifamily is definitely more profitable versus, single family.
But the things that I realize with multiple family here is, well, first of all, there's the law now you can put like 5% down, like a regular conventional loan. It's because you live, so you have 4 units attached together. You live in one and you rent 3, or you live in one. If it's 2, you live in one and you rent the other one, no matter what, but you live in one. You must use one of them as your primary residence. Yes. Then you can buy it and put down payment as a regular residential mortgage loan, which is on the conventional 5%. Correct. And on a FHA 3.5% down. So that's the best that you can do. But what I realized here in Houston is not really a city with multiple family properties, right? No. Oftentimes they're not in the most desirable area. And then, because most people in Houston come here to buy a house to leave for their family. To raise their family. So what's the most popular here in Houston area is single family home.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't really have row house or townhome. We do have a lot of townhome, but they're more in the city. Yeah. But as far as single family, there's oftentimes where people go. You can buy yourself a nice, small, cute single family home, 3-bedroom, 1 story. Yeah. In $200,000 is some.
Developers is a niche out there. If y'all listening, we need some multifamilies out here in Houston.
Yeah, seriously. If you can find a land and build multifamily, let me know, because I oftentimes have people calling me and say, "Hey, Danielle, I want to buy a multiple family or duplex or triplex and so on." So if you can help me find one, and then when they come in, they're gone fast.
Yeah, gone.
Yeah, they're gone. They're like, boop, gone quickly. And then so single family, the other option probably will be a single family. And I think for a first time investor, if you just get started, I'll suggest you to just buy a 1-story, 3 or 4 bedroom. The reason being 1-story versus 2-story, because when you have a 2-story, there's a problem in the bathroom upstairs and it starts leaking. It's going to mess up the second floor, the first floor also. And then it's cheaper as far when the tenant is moving out and another person needs to come in. It will cost you less money to do all the fixing inside that property versus having to take care of 2-story, you know, because they're just smaller and nicer. Condo, I don't think they make the best investment property, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's difficult. You pull a buyer when it's time for you to resell it is shrink, because oftentimes the HOA do not do a good job maintaining all the rule and regulation that the FHA will require, for example, for a condo to have. So oftentimes they have to go conventional. So they make you lose a big chunk of the market that can buy your property. Condo HOA tends to increase every year. At the end, that is going to eat up your profit. So if you have a HOA out there, just be part of it. See what they're doing, how much they charge, for what, and how. Be the other person, because they like to increase your fees every year, and you're not sure for what.
Every year. They just make something up.
Yeah.
This is the trash bill.
Well, for whoever work on the HOA, please call us and tell us really why you guys tend to increase the fees like that every year or every month. It's crazy. And then sometimes it takes them forever to fix the issue. If there is a foundation, I have a client who bought a condo, the foundation in the building having an issue, and 3 years later, it was still not fixed, and it was getting worse and worse every year. You know, so it's just like, well, what's going on? They still pay their dues, they still pay, but they say they voted and they're going to get it repaired, but they're not always get it done. My next question is, we already answered that question. Which type of credit score do you use? When buying a home, who pays for the closing cost?
So when buying a home, typically who's going to pay for the closing costs is going to be the buyer, right? The buyer is going to be responsible for the down payment of the property. They're going to be responsible for the lender fees, title fees. Now, we're in a situation now with it's a buyer's market a little bit. So sellers are paying owner title policies now on property. So you might get a credit with that. But typically for closing costs, the buyer is responsible to pay for that.
Yeah, the practice oftentimes you send is the owner pay for the title policy, but this is negotiable between all the party. And then, and then be careful now. With the lawsuit that happened, some of you buyer pay attention, so you may have to pay your realtor fee, now. So be careful. Pushing that
far away.
Be careful with that, and make sure you ask your realtor if it's included or not when you try to enter into contract. So for the VA loan, who pays for the termite report?
Termite report is always going to be paid by the actual borrower itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're a vet out there and you need a termite report, it's required.
It's required.
And then you'll be the one paying for it.
Yes.
Is it better? Now we already done. Is it better to buy a home from an owner directly or without an agent?
Well, in my opinion, you always need an agent. Because it's just one of those things. You need somebody that's professional, that understands the back and forth of a contract, how it binds, to be able to represent you, for you to be able to get the best dollar for your buck, to put you in the right position to purchase that home. So in my opinion, you always need a realtor. You going in there blindly, unless you're a realtor before and you have that experience, you can represent yourself. And in any other case, it's just like going to court without a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
You need somebody to represent you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly right. Even sometimes lawyers refuse to represent themselves in some cases.
Exactly.
They hire another
lawyer
to take care of them because they know how things can be tricky, especially when you're emotionally attached to things. So, yeah, it's always better to have a representation, somebody who knows the market, who knows how things work, who have practice, has experience, and then you also have some disclosure you may not be aware of. And then the seller, sometimes they don't even know. So if it's the for sale by owner sign that you see and it's a house for sale, you call the seller directly. The seller doesn't have all the disclosure. You maybe not know you need to do a home inspection. You don't know how to negotiate up before entering the contract. And then you do your home inspection and you realize there is a lot of problem on the property and you don't want the house no more. It's too late. You sign in a binding contract, you're going to buy the house. And then you may be missing to check that in a contract if you don't, as a consumer, you're not supposed to use the realtor contract that we use. You don't know which type of contract the seller is going to provide you, and then the contract that you would have, make sure that you have everything as far that you tell the seller, I'm buying this house under the condition that I obtain a loan. There's a lot of things that they're taking place, so always make sure to be represented, and then everything is negotiable. If you don't necessarily need to pay full commission to the agent, you can always negotiate a flat fee, and then make sure that you're representing anything that you do.
Yeah.
Which other question do you have? I finished up with my question list.
You did what? You finished
I finished my question list.
Yeah, so the question I have is, what is debt to income ratio? So basically how debt to income ratio works is you have a borrower, we pull credit, we see how much debt they have versus how much income they have, right? So your debt to income is just what it says, the debt versus the income that you have in. Typically, when we're doing a file, your debt to income ratio can't be over 50%. If it's over 50%, you're not going to qualify for the actual
conventional
product.
And FHA, or just one of the other?
FHA and conventional.
Okay.
Can't go over 50%.
Okay.
Now, there's some manual underwriting times where you can go a little bit above, but that's case by case.
Okay, so if you pretty much bring home $5,000, your debt, the debt that you have versus the income cannot pass $2,500, but that includes the mortgage inside that number.
The mortgage inside.
Yeah.
And that's the principal and interest payment. That's the taxes. That's the insurance. That's mortgage insurance if you have that as well, and as well as the HOA fees. So it's everything included. Any dollar amount that's added that you'll be paying is what's included in that debt to income ratio. Okay,
so I think we're through with the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did good.
We're good.
Did you learn something? What do you think? What are your thoughts on all these questions? And if you have any more questions you want to ask, do not hesitate. Make sure to put your comment below. We want to hear from you. Give us a thumbs up. Follow up us on all social media, and like this video. So hopefully, once again, you learn a lot. Thank you so much for watching. We are your host. I'm Danielle Bilumbu.
Here's Blue Jabby with AMP Lending. Please subscribe.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye.
How was that?